So one of the things you have to do for the beast is you have to draw three maps. Three maps. One of the maps is going to be a world map like this. And I have a couple of good examples, and I'll show you the different kinds of maps I want you to draw. And then I have some examples of students in the past that I told they had to redo the map. So you get an examples of what I want and what I don't want. So this is what I want. The world map should look something like this. It should be very clear where your artwork comes from in the world. So on this map, all the land masses are in white. There's a nice black outline. The ocean is in blue. The letters are all in capital letters. And the location of the artwork, the country, is marked in red. Another thing I like about this is that the coloring is nice and even. It's not perfect, but it's good. All right. And what I don't want is scribbles. So try to do a good job on your map. It should look nice and professional when you turn it in. So, and also I want you to include a photograph of the artwork on the map. So you're going to print it and glue it on, or you can even draw it on there. I've had some students do that. All right. But the drawing, I should be able to know which artwork it is by your drawing. All right. And by the way, this one and this one, the first time I assigned this assignment, I didn't ask them to put the artwork on here. And then the second time I did. So these are maps done before I required the students to. So I just attached the artwork digitally. But let's see, I think this one, the student attached the artwork to the paper. All right. This is one where the water is white, the landmass is shaded in gray, and then but the location is colored in red. This is easy to read. It's easy to see where the artwork comes from, and this is a good map. This one, the student was a little bit more creative. They did some like little watery lines in the water. They did some variations in the landmass of different greens and yellows. That's okay. It is still very easy to read. It's easy to see where the artwork comes from. And then this student was creative. They did these parallel diagonal lines. This student didn't like drawing curves. She did a lot of her lines are straight lines. And you'll see, I think I have examples of hers where there's a lot of straight lines. She was a little bit creative, but again, it's very easy to read. You can definitely tell what's landmass, what isn't, and you can tell where the artwork comes from. Then the second map I want you to draw is where you're like a local area of where your artwork comes from and what the map looked like during that time. For example, this is a map from your textbook, your digital textbook, and you can see it's a map of the boundary of the Holy Roman Empire. So this is most likely a medieval map. I would like it if it had a date on here, but I don't see a date. So this is likely somebody would use this map if they had chosen an artwork from the medieval era or the Gothic era or the Romanesque era. The boundaries would show different countries, like the Kingdom of Poland doesn't exist today. Kingdom of Sweden doesn't exist today. The Ottoman Empire doesn't exist today. The Republic of Venice doesn't exist today, etc. And especially the Holy Roman Empire doesn't exist today. This would be a map that somebody would draw if they were to choose an artwork from that era. So here are a couple of examples. This student did Britain from the 1850s. This was her artwork down here. You can see that some of the countries are a little bit different than they are now. And then she did Britain today. By the way, make sure you are spelling your stuff right. This is it's a common error, so I'm not gonna. But anyways, this is an easy to read map. The coloring is nice. The water is blue. The location where it came from is red. It's easy to read. It's easy to understand where the artwork comes from. This is the girl I was telling you about. All her lines are, she does these straight lines, which is kind of fun. But, anyways, this is a map of Europe around 1620. And this is when Italy was all fragmented. And so the area of Italy where this artwork comes from is Tuscany. So she is colored in Tuscany red, and everything else is in these diagonal lines. And the boundaries with the water is in a harsh outline. And then the boundaries within between countries is it. So this is an easy to read map right here. I like this. And there's even a legend that says where the artwork was made and then the artist's artwork's state of origin. Oh, and I also like having a compass on there. You don't have to put a compass, but I like compasses in map. All right, so your assignment is to draw 3 maps: one world, one local map at the time your artwork was made, and one local map of the current boundaries. Does that make sense? All right. All your writing on there is going to be in all caps, make it easy to read. When you color, don't scribble, color nicely. I'm an art teacher, I can tell the difference. Do not rush the assignment. About 90% of the maps that I told them to redo it is because they rushed it. They didn't spend enough time on it. This is an easy assignment, I think, but it shouldn't be a quick assignment. Take your time. All right, do a nice job. It's okay to trace the map. You can have it up on your computer and trace it on a piece of copy paper. By the way, you will be doing this on a piece of copy paper and it will be going into the Beast. I showed you guys the Beast. I passed it around. You saw the maps that were in the examples. You have an idea of how big it should be. The map should be immediately understandable. I should be able to look at it and understand what's water, what's not water, where your artwork is from. It should be obvious. I highly recommend, oh, that's a typo on my part, water in blue and the location in red. But you can do other stuff. I showed you examples where it wasn't that. That was perfectly fine too. All right. And if you're not going to make the water in blue and the location in red, make it immediately understandable. I should be able to look at it and say, oh, that's where the artwork is from. And include a photograph of your artwork, or you can draw a picture. All right. I'm going to have some examples of students that I told to redo it. All right. I don't, although I'm familiar with the Greek maps, I know this is Greece. I know what Samothrace is. This is still a confusing map. And it's a bit rushed. The location is in red. I can immediately understand where the location comes from. It looks sloppy. Spend time, make it nice. Color something, right? Either the water or the land. I don't understand this map. By the way, those of you doing Vetus of Willendorf and Hall of the Bulls, you're gonna find it's going to be difficult to find a map of the Paleolithic era that has boundaries on it, just without any boundaries, and just where the location would be. This was obviously Vetus of Willendorf, and she had a really tough time finding a map at that time. Yeah, I understand Germany, Poland, but I don't understand like where is the artwork from, and it doesn't make sense. Some of the countries aren't enclosed. I don't know which is the water. It's just not easily understandable. Oh yeah, on lined paper, on lined notebook paper is a no no. This doesn't look good. And I had to look and find, the Tokyo has a circle with a star right here, and that's supposedly where the artwork comes from. It wasn't immediately obvious. And oh, this is what happens when you wait until literally the last second to turn in your map. They blew off the assignment until it was due, and this is what they did the morning of, like minutes before I was collecting it. Right? They just scribbled it on a sheet of paper. In fact, I think he traced somebody else's map, and so this is not acceptable. I don't understand this map. I can't see this map. It looks like they drew it and then erased it and then turned it in. This student just did not understand the assignment. This was the first year that I gave it, and so I didn't have any examples to show. And she just literally didn't understand the assignment. And this is, her she did an Egyptian artwork, and so this was a map of Egypt. If you and this is a good example of if you don't understand, just ask.